So if you remember the first thing I said when we talked in these videos about what is Bitcoin, if you pulled it out of a box, what would come out of it would be paper. That was software code. And that's ultimately what it is. Satoshi created the Bitcoin using a computer language, which is a code, to make software and hardware do a particular thing. In our case with Bitcoin, there's 6 things that it actually does, or you can kind of say it acts as. And if we were to sum it all up, I came up with this way to describe it. Bitcoin is software that includes a mint that produces a currency, that has a central bank that sets the inflation rate, a network that allows transactions to be sent back and forth, and a wallet or bank account for each user to store their currency, and a history of every transaction called the blockchain. These 7 things fully make up what Bitcoin is. That's Bitcoin. What's special about this software that Satoshi wrote is that it's not his alone. While it is original in some ways and the most successful for sure, Satoshi saw further ahead than most people because he was standing on the shoulders of other giants. Bitcoiner Dan Held has a really great chart here. It's kind of small, but it just shows where Bitcoin came from. Now, this is really neat about software. All of software is either open or closed source. If it's open, it's free and public for everyone to use and even improve if you're so inclined. There aren't too many examples of this because it's sort of the opposite to how business works. But Linux and Android are probably the most popular open source projects, followed by Firefox or OpenOffice or MySQL. Now, businesses work on selling a product or a service or idea, so it's closed by nature so they can sell it and be competitive. A business doesn't want to give anyone else the chance to do what they're doing, otherwise they'd have no business. So that's why it's closed and it's private, closed software. That's why almost all businesses that create software create closed source software. They call this non-free because it's not free. You pay for it. Now, this includes almost everything you can think of. Apple, Adobe, Microsoft, Google, McAfee. Satoshi created Bitcoin as open source software, which essentially means he gave it away for free to the world. Maybe he did this because he wasn't a business person and he didn't want to have to deal with all that came with it, because running a business is hard. Maybe he knew he'd be a target if it ever took off. Who knows? Regardless, it's really quite remarkable that we get to have Bitcoin for free and improve it. Not all of the thousands of cryptocurrencies out there that came from Bitcoin's open source code, its software code, are scams or worthless. I think many of them are, but many problems are likely going to be solved using Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency like it. The fact that Satoshi automated all of these processes using computer code and that it continues to work and be improved is a miracle if you think about it. This is much of why it's valued at so high of a price it is today, because of its potential looking forward to the future. So that sums up what is Bitcoin, all right? Making Bitcoin easy, what is Bitcoin? So now we're going to talk about a couple other things, some of the main things that have to do with Bitcoin. The next one is going to be who created Bitcoin and why. So this is really interesting.